Okay, we're going.
Okay, well, everybody please stand for the pledge.
States of America, and to the republic for which liberty and justice for all.
Before we start, I'd like to thank Ransom Township officials for allowing us to be here today. Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Dennis Macheska. Supervisors, David Bird, and Alan Myers. Township Secretary, Pat Myers, and Township Solicitor, Ed Sakiti. Reading and approval of the minutes from the meeting held on November 3rd, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only. Anyone on agenda items only? Okay. Friends of the Poor presentation. We have speakers, President and CEO of Friends of the Poor, Megan Loftus, and Director of Area Agency on Aging, Jason Kovulich. You want to go to the...
Good morning, everyone. We're here to present a donation to Friends of the Poor from Lackawanna County through the Area Agency on Aging. And the donation is more important than simply a donation for deliveries of home-delivered Thanksgiving dinners to seniors. It's an investment in combating senior isolation, and it's also an investment in making sure that we deal with the nutritional risks that our seniors face in Lackawanna County. So while it is a good time of year, it makes us all feel good that we're able to find the resources to invest in Friends of the Poor and the great work that they do for our community. It's also important to recognize there's a greater good being served here. Senior isolation costs the American people $6.7 billion in healthcare annually. Our investment here in Lackawanna County helps us identify individuals who are isolated through programs like Friends of the Poor and take steps to proactively combat it before they enter into a more serious medical condition. So with that, Megan Loftus, one of our very good partners and an individual has helped us throughout the pandemic make sure that food insecurity has been combated in Lackawanna County is here from Friends of the Poor.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. I want to start by saying thank you for the donation. Typically for our dinner, this is our 45th dinner. It actually predates our agency. It was one of Sister Adrian's first missions in Scranton, and it started in 1976 with 24 people. Now we serve 3,500. Typically, individuals would come to the Scranton Cultural Center, sit and eat with us, and there would be music and a lot of community and camaraderie. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, we can't do that. Last year, we delivered about 900 and some meals to seniors living alone. This year, we're already at a request for 1,700 meals, and it's still climbing. So this donation is really going to help us make sure we can meet that and continue to have people just go and check on the seniors, make sure they're okay. And when our delivery drivers are dropping things off, they're also talking to the seniors and seeing what other resources they might need and what else we can do to help them, and just making sure they know which resources are available in the county. So I did bring, it's a full 3-day event, starts with an interfaith prayer service. And then our Thanksgiving dinner is Tuesday, and our drive-through giveaway, which would be for families, it's all of the groceries and the makings of a Thanksgiving meal, is the next day. So if you guys don't mind, I would leave this by the door in case anyone is interested in coming or just sharing the information. And again, I really appreciate the support, and they're almost double the amount of people that we're serving this year thanks to your donation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members of the board, do you have a on the board? Do you have a board?
Oh, no, it's just me.
Okay. Get the picture up on top. Yeah. This one's taken up on top.
It predates your organization, doesn't predate me.
Not many things do, Jerry.
Let's just slide that chair out of the way.
Just a good old friend.
She was a wonderful woman.
Let's move a little this way.
Chris, it's still on your
Yeah,
way.
and Chris, yeah, just move right behind. Yeah, that'd be good right there.
Is it
straight?
It is not.
It's not.
Okay.
Now it is.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, here we go. Everybody look at me. Smile. Perfect.
Good job. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just throw that in the bowl.
Okay, ordinances, first reading, 21-0274, ordinance number 274, first reading, annual budget for the county of Lackawanna for the year 2022.
An ordinance of the County of Lackawanna and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania fixing the tax rate and enacting the budget for the year 2022 and appropriate specific sums estimated to be required for the specific purposes of the county government hereinafter set forth during the current fiscal year. Be it ordained and enacted. It is hereby resolved and enacted by the Board of Commissioners of the County of Lackawanna, Pennsylvania, Section 1, that a tax be and the same is hereby levied on all property within the said county subject to taxation for county purposes for the fiscal year 2022 as follows. Tax rate for general county purposes, the sum of 46.90 mils on each dollar of assessed valuation, or the sum of 469 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation. For debt purposes, the sum of 13.20 mils on each dollar of assessed valuation, or the sum of 132 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation. For the purposes of the county library system, the sum of 2.82 mils on each dollar of the assessed valuation, or the sum of 28.20 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation. For the purposes of the cultural and education fund, the sum of 1.0 mils, or the sum of 10 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation. Total millage for all purposes is the sum of 63.92 mils. Section 2, all prior ordinances or resolutions or parts thereof inconsistent herewith are repealed. Madam Commissioner, that is the first reading of the budget for 2022. The second reading will be at our next meeting on November 1st.
Okay.
The next one.
Okay. Resolution 87, approving current payables.
Be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County is hereby approve the following payables. Lackawanna County's General Fund, numbers 331400-332167, inclusive, totaling $2,165,710.52. Electronic fund transfers, including all payroll accounts, totaling $8,486,563.90. Adopted at a meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on November 17th, 2021. Madam Commissioner.
Do I have a motion to approve the current payables? Which
Move. Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 21-0282, entering into an agreement with the Friends of the Poor.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County is hereby enter into agreement with the Friends of the Poor on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging for congregate Thanksgiving meals in the amount not to exceed $10,000. Adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna, November 17th, 2021. Madam Commissioner, here to speak upon that is our Area of Aging Director, Mr. Jason Kavulich.
Hey, Jason.
Good morning. Again, this is just to formalize the how we're going to transfer the funds to Friends of the Poor.
Anybody have any questions for Jason? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0282
Motion. Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 21-0283, entering into a memorandum of understanding.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County is hereby enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Department of Aging, hereinafter, and the Lackawanna County Area Agency on Aging for the shared housing and resource and exchange to address the increasing need for affordable housing options for seniors and seniors with disabilities, with the potential to expand the program to individuals under the age of 60 with disabilities. The term of the MOU shall be July 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2024, with an estimated budget for the SHARE program as administered through Lackawanna County totaling $342,704. Adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on November 17th, 2021. Madam Commissioner, once again, here is Director Kavulich.
This program, the Department of Aging approached Lackawanna County and asked us to please consider bringing it to the Northeast as a pilot for Lackawanna County and some of our surrounding communities. So our area agency on aging accepted, and the funding that comes along with it. We're working with our partners to build the program in our community. What SHARE is individuals, older adults who need assistance in their home, welcome someone into their home that can help them with either bathing assistance, meal preparation, trash removal, light care around their home, in exchange for being able to live with the senior for no cost. This is completely funded by the Department of Aging. We're happy to be a pilot program, and we want to make sure that it's a success in our community, and we can grow it from here. We're going to start off small. We're going to partner with NeighborWorks and the Women's Resource Center to see if we can build a program model that will be sustainable in other communities as well.
I'm assuming you'll do extensive background checks on these
Correct.
people.
Yes. That is our hesitation initially into joining the program, but after the discussions with the Department of Aging, we have some assurances in place that we can vet the individuals the way we feel is appropriate.
Any questions for Jason? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0283
Motion. Second.
on the question? All in favor? Aye. 21-0284, entering into a consulting agreement. Thanks, Jason.
Be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County does hereby approve the consulting agreement with Specialty Vehicle Services LLC to render consulting services with regard to specialty vehicle design and construction for the Lackawanna County Library System's bookmobile. And be it resolved that the Lackawanna County desires to reform and revise public outreach methods previously conducted by Lackawanna System Bookmobile following the onset of COVID-19, and include these new processes and any relevant and pertinent equipment as part of the design and final assembly of the specialized library outreach vehicle. And be it resolved, the Lackawanna County desires Specialty Vehicle Services LLC to include best practices to assist in determining current outreach possibilities and requirements following the onset of COVID-19 with the American Rescue Plan Act funds to assist in responding to the ongoing repercussions left by the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Lackawanna County hereby authorizes the chair of the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners to sign and authorize all documents relating to this consulting agreement, and now therefore be it resolved, this 17th day of November 2021, that the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners does hereby authorize entering into this consulting agreement with Specialty Vehicle Services LLC, adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on November 17th, 2021. And the commissioner who speak upon that is our Director of Economic Development, Ms. Brenda Sacco.
Good morning. Good morning. So as a result of an RFP that we did in September of 2021, the resolution states that the county is entering into a consulting agreement with Specialty Vehicle Services LLC for the consulting services for the design and construction of a Lackawanna County bookmobile. These services totaling $19,100 will be paid for with American Rescue Plan Act funds to assist in responding to the ongoing repercussions by the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has changed the way we look at learning, public outreach services, and much, much more. And we must be able to respond to these changes in order to best serve our residents. I have Mary Garm here, who is our Lackawanna, the administrator of our Lackawanna County Library System, and she can talk a little bit more about our bookmobile and how important it is.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's lovely to see you all. I'd like to thank you for your support and interest in this project, especially Commissioner Domenick, who brought me in this summer to really begin talking about this idea. You may know that our current bookmobile was purchased in 2000, so that's a little more than 2 decades ago. We've experienced a number of issues over the last few years related to maintenance and repairs, but nothing really prepared us for what we were going to experience in March of 2020 when the pandemic hit. With social distancing restrictions and other kinds of safety regulations that relate to gatherings of people, we found that we could not provide the typical bookmobile service that we had been doing for many years. If you can picture the bookmobile, it's basically a bus with a center aisle and bookshelves lining both sides of the interior. We would bring groups of children, families onto the bookmobile throughout the county. And that was just not possible. So the bookmobile has been pretty much off the road for much of the pandemic. We are really interested in replacing that vehicle and looking for new ways to provide services in a post-pandemic, what we hope will someday be a post-pandemic world. But we are assuming that some of the restrictions that we are currently living with are things that are going to continue. So we have looked to we're looking for services from a consultant who can help us explore the world of what bookmobiles today look like, a lot different from 20 years ago, what kind of services bookmobiles are currently offering, and we are recommending that we look at this proposal from Specialty Vehicle Services. They are a company that can take us from concept to design through manufacture and delivery of the vehicle. It's a skill set that nobody that we know of locally has. And so we think that this is our best opportunity to find a new bookmobile that is going to carry us into the next 10 to 15 years of outreach services in Lackawanna County.
So it might not be a bus.
It might not be a bus. Yeah. And it might not be something that people come onto. It might be, something that takes programs or collections of books to places throughout the county, whether it's preschools or senior centers, local parks in the summertime.
Anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0284?
Motion.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
21-0285, approving the submission of a CDBG modifications.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of the County of Lackawanna do hereby approve the submission of modifications of the following community development block grant programs to the Pennsylvania Department of Community Economic Development. For the federal fiscal year 2017, the modification will delete the Oliphant Row clearance and demo line item and transfer the fiscal year 2017 funds totaling $56,571 to the public facilities line item for the Oliphant Borough Building ADA ramp project. For the federal fiscal year 2017, the modification will transfer from the True Borough Single Unit Housing Rehabilitation line item fiscal year 2017 funds totaling $51,287 to create the Recreation Facilities line item for the True Borough Washington Street Park ADA improvements project. And for the fiscal year 2017, the modification will transfer from the Jessup Borough Single Unit Housing Rehabilitation line item fiscal year 2017 funds totaling $54,209 to create the Public Facilities line item for the Jessup Borough Building ADA restroom and vestibule door project. Be it further resolved that the county has complied with the terms of the Pennsylvania Act 179 and has met all citizen participation requirements in connection with the above mentioned revisions. Adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on November 17, 2021. Madam Commissioner, here once again is Director Sacco.
Hello again. This resolution states that the county is submitting CDBG modification requests for fiscal year 2017 on behalf of the Borough of Jessup, Troop, and Oliphant to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. These requests will allow for Jessup Borough Building ADA restroom and vestibule door project, the Troop Washington Street Park ADA improvements project, and the Oliphant Borough Building ADA ramp project to be funded so that these projects may commence. The resolution is a requirement of our CDBG program, and it ensures that there's citizen participation in the use of the funds. Any questions?
Hey, do I have a motion to approve 21-0285?
Motion.
Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
21-0286, approving a maintenance agreement with Eastern Time.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County is hereby enter into a testing maintenance agreement with Eastern Time for a proprietary fire alarm system at the Trolley Museum. Term to begin January 1st, 2022 and expire on December 31st, 2024. Adopted at the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on November 17th, 2021. Madam Commissioner, here to speak upon that is our Director of the Trolley Museum, Mr. Wayne Hiller.
Good morning, everyone. Basically, this is just a renewal of an existing agreement with Siemens Industries. It is for a 3-year contract, which extends to August 2024. Let me explain a little bit about Siemens here. Siemens is a computer automation system for the Trolley Museum. The Siemens computers oversee building and control systems. For example, heating and cooling controls, exhaust systems, lighting controls, and it also controls our security monitoring system, fire alarms, and intrusion panels. It'll be about a 3% increase, which I did submit in my 2022 budget. Anyone have any questions?
Do I have a motion? No? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0286?
Motion. Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
21-0288, entering into a purchase agreement with Harris Infocom Corporation.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County is hereby enter into a purchase agreement with Harris Infocom Corporation for application hosting and professional services for the Register of Wills Office, Assessment Office, Sheriff's Office, Tax Claim Bureau, Jury Systems, and the Protonotary Clerk of Judicial Records Office for a cost of professional services of $9,900 a year and an annual hosting total of $97,794.72. Adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on November 17, 2021. Madam Commissioner, here to speak upon that is our IT Director, Mr. Michael Brown.
Good morning, Commissioners and everyone. This agreement with Harris, formerly known as Infocon, was the group that was, all these different departments are actually using their services. So in order to help reduce costs, we're looking to remove the AS400 off of the county's budget and utilizing that cost savings to house these services on Harris, which actually will improve functionality for not just the departments, but also the citizens of Lackawanna County that actually access these resources off our website.
Anyone have any questions for Mike?
At the moment.
Do I have a motion to approve 21-0288?
Motion. Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Mike.
Opportunity for the public to address the board. Hi.
My name is, let me get over to the
Yeah.
microphone.
Good morning. My name is Joss Hoyt, and I have a question, for, the commissioners. And before I ask the question, please know that I think that every person in this room, is a Pennsylvanian that is proud of the state and is interested in the best and, the right thing to do. We had a lot of changes in the voting. And, at the state level and then also, at, the county level, one of which at the county level is drop boxes. And I am concerned, about, the ability of our organization to be able to keep that, as a tight and honest, and a fair system. I would like to hear, from the commissioners as to what your opinions are on that and, how do we make our system better?
Our system actually works very well. They can drop anything they want in the ballot box. We can't control that. They are monitored, but they can't get a ballot, and that's controlled by the voter registration office. Unfortunately, Beth isn't here today, but it was supervised. It's monitored continually during the course of election day.
Mhm.
It's not like you can just take a piece of paper and say, I want to vote for this person. You have to have a ballot.
Right.
You have to be a registered voter to get the ballot. This is all nonsense with this,
Well, I don't know if I read what you're saying to me, but I also know that I have a deceased wife who received, 2 ballots, and she was no longer alive.
Did you vote them?
Did I post? No, I thought about, actually, voting 3 times, but I decided not to.
Okay. Well, again, I don't think they would have been counted. And it's
So
just,
what you're telling me is that
and you can have a conceivable difference,
If
Tom.
I may, Commissioner, the mailed out ballots that are returned through the drop boxes that you're referring to,
Right.
all have very specific requirements
To be
as
signed.
far as signing off on the ballot and then signing another document, an envelope, asserting that you are the person who signed the ballot and that you are the person who is assuring that this is your ballot. We have access to the state voter database that allows our people, and granted, the people in Lackawanna County's voter reg office are not handwriting experts, but we are allowed to compare the writing on the ballot that comes in to the handwriting on the original documentation when the people registered to vote or most recently changed their registration. So while that's not 100% foolproof, and I realize that, it does essentially assure the county that the votes that are coming in are being made or at least signed by the persons who registered to vote.
Look, and then let me comment too. I have the utmost respect for our voter registration office, Beth, Glenn, Adam, all of them. They do a great job. I have no concerns when the ballots are in their hands. The drop boxes are a concern of mine. I just think it's an extra opportunity for people to have for voter fraud. Now, whether or not it's happening, I don't know. I'm not an expert on voter fraud, but it gives an opportunity for people to throw extra ballots in there potentially. The DA's doing an investigation now with video that I found. You know, yeah, these boxes are security cameras, but nobody's watching the film. So without anybody watching them, we have no idea what's going on. So, you know, maybe down the road, we're going to have to get copies of all the video, and we're going to have to assign people to watch every minute of every video, and we'll see what goes on. But, you know, it just opens up a little bit extra opportunity for the potential for voter fraud.
At this point, the ballot boxes are legal in Pennsylvania. And that's the reason we have them. And there have been multiple court cases concerning voter fraud in the country. And they've all been refused and turned down. They've all come up, no. You know, again, can someone conceivably do something wrong? Sure. Someone could conceivably come in here now and do something wrong. But it's really is awful unlikely.
Well, the only thing that I know is just in listening and in conversation with a lot of different people is that there are questions in some people's minds. And I think that to cause people to have more confidence in, you know, the fact that things are right, I think, you know, that I'd like to see what the commissioners, you know, are willing to do to, I guess, recapture the confidence for the public.
There are instructions posted, and then after the concern that was raised by Commissioner Chermak, we did post a more concise, sometimes a long instruction in black and white isn't enough, so we put it on neon paper and made it very short and concise, only to place your vote, your ballot in this box. We don't have total control over what the general public does. I mean, and we just don't know if it's feasible for us to have a sheriff at every election, like at every ballot box. It's not conceivable. I mean, our sheriff's department is already stretched so thin from all the buildings that we have.
You know, we were brought into a pandemic that none of us were ready for. Certainly was no guidebook for this. Right. The election was coming upon us, and you know, maybe the drop boxes at that point were going to be important, even though I still don't understand why we needed drop boxes, but whatever, we have them. Well, the pandemic, hopefully we're getting towards the end of the pandemic. Hopefully we're going to get back to some sort of normalcy. Hopefully people will go to the polls and vote in person. So in the road, I'm hoping we can eliminate one option. We can eliminate the drop boxes. They can still mail in a ballot if there's mail-in ballots. They can mail in their absentees, or they can vote in. The other option is you can always go to the county building and go to the voter registration and turn in your ballot. And then there's no mistake. You can only hand in your own. They're not going to take multiple ballots. They're not going to take your PP&L bill if you accidentally threw it in there. So, so hopefully down the road we can address the drop box.
All right, well,
And just
thank
one
you.
more thing, there is a log sheet kept by, that's my understanding, right? By Beth Hopkins of everything that's obtained from each Dropbox. She keeps track of everything that was in there. So I do think that there are safeguards, but
And can I just add to the gentleman's question, and they're very good questions, and look, I think there's good points made on both sides, but relative to the drop boxes themselves, when you talk about, if there is any lack of confidence, I think what I would point out to folks primarily, and what I do is, I think we could reasonably argue that the drop boxes are almost even more secure than, say, our post office boxes or our US mail boxes when we're talking absentee ballots, because of course, at least the 6 drop boxes we have are video recorded, and we can look at those if an instance comes up, such as Commissioner Chermak did at one of our meetings, where with our post office or with our US mailboxes, which of course are all over the county, anyone can go to any of those. None of those are recorded and can put in whatever they want. So, I think in any instance, to Commissioner Notarianni's point, if someone wants to do something that's wrong or insidious, they're going to do that or try to do that. But we try to put the best safeguards we can in place. And I think the video recording offers an additional safeguard that we really don't see anywhere else. Thank you for your inquiries.
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Yes, I'd like to,
Would you go to the microphone, please?
Okay.
It's just easier for,
I'd like to alert, I'm Robert Connor. I live in Ransom, not far up the road, on Creek Road. I want to alert the county to a existing hazardous situation that's not being addressed by anyone. I spoke to the township supervisors. They said they don't have any money, so they're not going to do anything. That little stream.
I mean, when I talked to you yesterday.
Yes, you did. I appreciate that.
Well, you did talk to someone.
Oh, I spoke with multiple people.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, I spoke a month
I want
ago.
to set that straight.
3 years ago, I brought it up at the township meeting, but not with the county. Not with the county, I just brought it up. It's in regards to that small stream that's running up the road along Creek Road. Right now, that stream, if you look at it, you say, what's the problem? What it is there's numerous trees that are falling across that stream, upstream, not down here, further up. And as soon as there's a gully washer, say, 4-inch rain in a short period, it goes crazy. I have an example of what it looks like during one of those periods. This is that little quiet stream. When we get a heavy rainstorm, it goes crazy. Right now, we have numerous trees across that stream. It's going to cause a log jam to build up, and all of a sudden, that wall of water is going to let loose, and we're going to have a major flood. And it's happened before. It washed that stream, that road out, and it's going to happen only in a much worse situation because there are more trees. There's a pinch point. It's marked up the road with orange marker on the guardrails. If you have a chance to stop on the way up, get out of your car, look over the bank. The guardrails are hanging. The supports for the guardrail are already hanging down. So something needs to be done by somebody. I'm not saying it's the county alone, but someone, and I already said I would take part in fixing this problem.
Now, I'm not discounting your concerns.
Okay.
Again, I was made aware of it yesterday. I
Right.
spoke with you yesterday.
Right.
I talked to our roads and bridges director yesterday. He was going to contact you, but I don't know if he did or not.
Not yet.
Okay. Again, he just got back from
Yep.
where he was, I'm sure he will.
All right, well,
And we'll go forward from there.
Is that a
There's
state
something-
road or a count? What is that
it's
road?
State Road 2003.
Yeah, but again. it
And
was
there
only
is a
yesterday,
meeting-
and it's not
a
like
meeting
we're
tomorrow.
ignoring it. It's not like we're discounting your concerns. I agree with you. That's
Right.
interesting.
Something should be done by
Where-
someone, and I appreciate your consideration on this, and hopefully with your help, maybe something will be
Hopefully it
done.
will be.
You know, this is the first positive response that I've gotten,
I'm glad.
actually.
I'm glad.
So I did speak with Representative Cartwright. I
Okay.
spoke with Kozrowski's office.
Mhm.
I spoke with the DER, the EPA,
Okay. Senator Flynn's,
numerous.
liaison is here now, his assistant.
Numerous agencies,
I'm sure he'll take some information from you.
Okay.
Senator Flynn will be glad to get involved in this conversation.
We have a meeting tomorrow scheduled with the DOT, Department of Transportation. Their engineers are going to look at the road, which is going to fall into
And only gonna get worse.
the stream. Yeah, right. So hopefully, you know, my alerting this problem to you and others, something will get done. Thank you. I appreciate. very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Brian will talk to you, right, Brian?
Anyone else from the public? Going once, going twice. Okay, commissioners, other business. Jerry?
So earlier in the meeting, we talked about the budget. Just want everybody in the public here, to pay attention and be aware that our 2022 budget is going to be faced with an $8.8 million deficit.
That was 7.5. Wasn't it 7.5?
The official budget hasn't changed from the tentative budget yet, Commissioner.
So it's still
So,
8.
I mean, it's a work in process.
I'm sorry, I
And
just,
we believe that we brought the deficit down by reducing health insurance, and there's some other changes. But we're still expecting to make further changes, and we'll have the final number by the December 1st meeting when we do the second reading of the ordinance.
Okay, well, I'll be waiting for those, but, I just want everybody to be aware of what's going on. And Tom, I've requested a meeting with Tom. He's been a little too busy to get with me yet, but hopefully before too long we can. We're looking at multiple increases in different areas, $1 million at the prison, 18% in the sheriff's department, 50% in the increase in the assessor's office, several million in IT. It goes on and on. So, at that rate, and I'm telling you, and I'm a taxpayer too, we are going to be faced, and this is on record, we're going to be faced with one of the largest tax increases this county's ever seen if we continue down this path. So now is the time to make cuts and look at the budget and fix the problem now. It's going to get worse. It's a snowball rolling downhill, and that's where we are. So just want everybody to just pay attention.
I myself, I've been going, the deputy chief of staff here, Tracy Hart, and I, both together tirelessly going through the budget. And I mean, line item for line item. I've asked the revenue department, Mary Jo, our director of budget director, is that your title? I asked her for information going back to 2018, just so I could see where businesses were, or departments were before COVID. We are taking a very close look at it. I am more than willing to look at anything that you'd like to discuss, or if you want to come and sit with us and do it. The prison, we're decreased costs by eliminating a vendor. We're renegotiating a contract, which should bring in about $1.5 million in revenue. So there are things happening. So as Tom Durkin said, the final numbers aren't here now, but I remember you had a budget task force or something. I'm all ears for recommendations and suggestions. I do agree that we need to cut some fat from the county budget, but there's only certain things that
Where it's going to end up is somewhere between 6 and 7% cut average across the board.
I mean, we can't just cut wages across the board. We have 7 unions.
But I think we
have to
can
deal with.
find $7 or $8 million in a $148 to $150 million budget. That's what.
And
I'm saying.
again, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Chris, but at the same time, anyone can point out problems. You have to come up with solutions. I'm in my office. If you can't
That's up to the directors. We have directors that run every department.
commissioners.
Are you a financial expert? No, you are not.
But I'm a
We have
commissioner.
people that, good for you. So am
Yeah,
I. I'm not a
right.
financial expert, but I ran my own business. And I can tell you what, when I lost our 2 franchises, do you think our budget stayed the same? Absolutely not. We had to make adjustments that you couldn't even think of. So there are things we can do. I don't want to hear excuses. We have an $8 million deficit that's going to go into the taxpayer's pocket. I don't want to hear excuses.
I'm not saying there is an excuse. I'm saying as commissioners, we have the obligation to look
To
at
balance the budget.
to look
That's
at the
in
budget
our-
and to try to make cuts when directors don't want to. I mean, when things go a
Well, too
certain
bad.
way.
Then we need new
and-
directors.
And some people just
So-
don't realize that they can make it work on less. But
I am
to
not
sit
going
here
to
and
pass a
point out-
budget with a deficit. It
for us
doesn't, it's
to
not going
sit
to happen.
here and complain about and yet say that it's not our responsibility to do anything to try to reduce it, but to place it on the
I want to see how
directors.
good you are. You got another
I'm
one.
doing something. What are you doing? Other than
I'm a minority commissioner. I'm doing the best I can
which
as a
is
minority
what? You
commissioner.
visit departments and you complain about problems. You don't actually enter or give us any solutions. So why don't you come to my office and sit down with me and help me figure it out, or just be quiet and stop pointing out the obvious.
All right, well, we'll see how you do.
I'll be doing a lot more than you. Anyone else? For the love of God. Anyone? I'll take a motion.
That was sort of a nasty exchange. And,
You
know,
think?
Rather than sit down and try to work out a solution and keep the budget in line so we don't have to pay more taxes, we're senior citizens. I'm 83, my wife's 80, and we keep paying taxes and taxes. We got another $800 tax we have to send out at the end of this month, and it comes out of our savings. And I'm not working, I'm retired, I'm on fixed income. And I wish you guys would figure out a way to cut expenses so at least we can live a livable life without going into a nursing home and paying more money.
I
I'm sorry,
agree.
You don't have to.
I agree, but I did not vote, I did not move. I understand.
So do something about it.
I
Don't
did
sit
not
back
vote
and say
for
it.
taxes the first
Don't
time
sit up there
around.
and shoot darts back and forth. Do something positive.
That's what I'm saying. I am
Okay,
doing
we'll do it
something.
then.
And I didn't raise taxes
Do it.
the first time around. He did.
Okay. Well, make sure you don't raise it again.
Do I have a second? Okay, go ahead. Do you want to come up here? They can't. It's for the camera.
Tom Miller, Scranton, Pennsylvania. You mentioned that you've been tirelessly going through all the line items. So what have you come up with?
Well, I mean, I don't laugh at you. I mean, it's a very large budget, so I'm
realize
still
that.
going through it. I do believe that there are expenses to be cut. So I've been in touch with the directors, trying to see what is what, and trying to see where we can cut money. We've also, like I said, with the prison, we're generating money through a new contract. We are eliminating expenses. I met with Ms. Sacco about her department, doing certain things. So the way it works is I'd say maybe 3/4 through it. And then I would sit down with either or both of the commissioners to go through it and with the revenue to see what they think about the cuts that I've made, or that I recommend or that I see are viable. And then it would take 2 commissioners to approve the changes.
Gotcha. So do you think you're going to be able to get to the 6 or 7%?
I whether or not we can, again, like as Tom said, right now it's $8.8 million deficit. It may be less. It's a working number. I don't know how far we're going to be able to get. It really is. It's difficult. I mean, when you try to cut within.
I'm just curious, like where you are and your confidence to be able to do that or not.
And that's why I've been trying to get estimates and budgets from before COVID, because looking at the COVID years, it's hard to really estimate what a department needs in certain things because a lot of the stuff was shut down, such as trials and things of that nature and juries. And so I've been looking before COVID. But I will say that it's hard when departments are used to running on a certain budget, you do get a lot of pushback. So we do our best. We're trying to go through it and reduce it.
I'm not arguing you're not doing your best. I'm
Yeah,
curious
whether or not I
in
mean,
your confidence.
am I
everything you
hopeful that
looked
we
at.
can eliminate $7 million? Not gonna lie to you, probably not, but I'm gonna try to get as much as I can. I'm not for raising taxes like that. I can
Right.
tell you
Well,
that.
I know, but that seems like that's always the go-to. You know, it seems
You're
like
right.
It's always the go-to. We heard that the gas tax was supposed to pay for the roads. I don't know what happened to that. The fees you pay to use the turnpike are supposed to take care of that. That doesn't happen. Now we're talking about adding $5 to the registration of our vehicles. All right, it's only $5, but then next year, what is it? Is it another 5? Is it just
You
growing?
have to generate revenue or cut taxes. When we generate revenue, we get pushback. When we try to cut taxes, we get internal pushback. So I agree. I think that raising taxes is the easy way out, and I'm not for that. I think that we really need to do some serious cutting, but unfortunately, not everybody is open to making waves in that regard. I don't have a problem doing it.
Thank you for your answer. I appreciate it.
Madam Commissioner, very quickly, I don't know where this narrative came from, but this budget does not raise taxes this year.
I know.
Okay, that wasn't said. What was
I think they're
was-
saying they're worried about it moving forward.
I'm talking about the debate that was going on about who gets cut where. The fact of the matter is that this budget is not raising taxes on the residents of Lackawanna County. in
That is true,
2022.
but we have a deficit, so we do need to make cuts. I do believe that. That's my opinion. All right, motion for adjournment,
So moved.
second
Second.
on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Connor. Mr. Connor. Mr. Connor.
Could you give Ryan your information? He just wants your information.